Hi, I'm Dave with Thermal Flow Technologies. I'm here today to talk to you about the difference between high temperature canvas ducting and Mylar ducting. Pretty common question we get because we have a wide variety of machines, some that use this type of ducting and others that use the Mylars. So when we tell people to use high temperature ducting, it's typically with a larger indirect fired heater. Uh, Indirect fired heaters tend to have a tendency to have a more powerful blower, which can blow through these duct systems a lot more efficiently than, let's say, a direct fired heater. On the inside of these heaters, there's these ducts, there are flaps, so they can create some kind of resistance on the blower. So you have to have a stronger blower to push air through these ducts. Versus the Mylar, there's no ridges on the inside of it. It's fairly smooth, so there's not a lot of air block. So that works a lot better with a direct fired heater, which typically have less powerful blowers. The high temperature canvas duct we typically recommend for the indirect fired heaters because they, generally speaking, have a what they call a backward inclined blower. So it's a more powerful blower that can push air longer distances than a machine such as a direct fired barrel style heater. The reason we like canvas ducting is it can hold temperature much better than the Mylar ducting. So this thicker material retains heat. So let's say you run this 25 feet into a building, you may lose 10 to 15 degrees of heat tops on a cold day, versus you may lose up to 25 degrees of heat at the discharge going into the building. Also about canvas ducting, it is far more durable. As you can see, this is all sewn together. There are cuffs that lock it in. So this is a lot more durable. I've seen some sections of duct, including my own personally, that have lasted 10 years plus. Versus these, unfortunately, Mylar ducts is a little more friable. You can hear the plastic. So the advantage, it collapses a lot better, but it is also lighter. However, over time, especially typically within a year or so, you get cold weather, you get the shock from the heat, you get rain, you get this going against brick. It has a tendency to get cut over time. It's actually a fairly thick plastic, just not as durable. So going back to the vinyl duct, it can hold the heat. It can, you can cinch it together. You can run 150 feet with no problem. It's great in extreme cold weather environments. However, when you put a direct fire heater to it, the air is going to have a much harder time working its way through this type of ducting. So on a direct fired system, you only be able to put 25 feet of duct on it, versus if you go like a Mylar where there's no resistance on the interior, you can go up to 75 or 100 feet with it. So if you need to do longer runs, or you're using a heater with a weaker blower system, Mylar is the choice by far. If you need to hold heat, you only need to run 25 feet, and you have like an indirect fired heater or a heater with a more powerful blower, I would use canvas ducting all day.